When I got home from a business trip, I found my daughter unconscious by the door. My wife shrugged and said she'd just disciplined her. I called an ambulance. But when the paramedic saw my wife, he went pale and whispered, "Sir, is that really your wife?" Because actually, my daughter's hand was cold when I found her. She was lying by the front door, crumpled like a discarded doll, her 6-year-old body curled in a way that made my stomach drop. Her lips were pale. Her breathing was shallow. There was a bruise blooming purple across her cheek. I'd been gone 3 days. Sales conference in Minneapolis. I'd called every night. Lily had sounded quiet, but Jennifer, my wife of 4 years, said she was just tired. "You know how kids get," she'd said. "Probably coming down with something." Now my daughter was unconscious on our hardwood floor. "Jennifer!" I screamed, dropping my suitcase. "Jennifer!" She appeared from the kitchen, dish towel in hand, completely calm, like this was normal, like our daughter wasn't dying on the floor. "Oh, she's being dramatic," Jennifer said. "I disciplined her earlier. She'll be fine. I'm Daniel Cooper, 38 years old, senior sales manager at Cloud Tech Solutions, widower. My first wife, Emily, died in a car accident when Lily was 2. I'd raised Lily alone for 2 years before I met Jennifer at a coffee shop in downtown Seattle. She'd been perfect, kind, patient with Lily. Everything we needed. I thought I'd found a second chance. I was wrong. What did you do to her?" My hands shook as I checked Lily's pulse. Weak, but there. "She was misbehaving, throwing tantrums. I gave her some Benadryl to calm her down." "How much?" Jennifer shrugged. "I don't know. A few pills." I called 911. My fingers could barely work the phone. "My daughter, she's unconscious. I think she's been drugged." The operator's voice was calm, professional. "Ambulance is on the way. Stay on the line." "Is she breathing?" "Yes, barely." "How old is she?" 6. "She's 6 years old." The ambulance arrived in 8 minutes. Felt like hours. I held Lily's hand the whole time, talked to her, begged her to wake up. Jennifer stood in the corner, arms crossed, watching with those cold blue eyes I'd somehow never noticed were cold until this exact moment. The paramedics burst through the door, 2 of them. The lead, his badge said Martinez, EMTP, 12 years King County Fire, immediately went to work on Lily, checking vitals, asking questions. "How long has she been like this?" "I don't know. I just got home. Found her like this maybe 10 minutes ago." "Any known medical conditions?" "No, she's healthy." Martinez looked up at Jennifer. His face changed, went from professional concern to something else. Recognition, fear. He stood up slowly, walked toward her, stared. "Sir," he said quietly, not taking his eyes off my wife. "Is that really your wife?" "Yes, Jennifer. Jennifer Walsh." "Why? What's her maiden name?" "Morrison. Jennifer Morrison." "Why are you—" Martinez pulled out his phone, typed something, showed me the screen. It was a news article from Portland, Oregon, dated November 2021. The headline, "Woman arrested in child abuse case. Stepson hospitalized with suspicious injuries." The photo showed a woman who looked exactly like my wife. Same blonde hair, same sharp features, same cold eyes, but the name was different. Sarah Jensen. "Because she's Sarah Jensen," Martinez said, his voice tight. "She was investigated in Oregon 2 years ago. Her stepson almost died." My blood turned to ice. "What are you talking about?" "Charges were dropped on a technicality. Something about chain of custody on the evidence. But that kid, Dylan Martin, 8 years old, he had the same symptoms I'm seeing here. Severe dehydration, unexplained bruising, sedatives in his system. His father didn't know until the school called CPS." I looked at my wife. She stood in the corner, arms still crossed, face completely blank, not scared, not surprised, just annoyed. "That's ridiculous," she said calmly. "I've never been to Oregon. This man is clearly confused." "Ma'am, I worked that case," Martinez said. "I was the paramedic who responded when Dylan was found unresponsive at school. I testified at the preliminary hearing. That's you. You're mistaken." Martinez turned to his partner. "Load her up. Priority 1, possible drug overdose and suspected abuse. I'm calling this in." They strapped Lily to the gurney, so small, so pale, my baby girl. "I'm riding with her," I said. "Sir, you should follow in your car." "I'm riding with her," Martinez nodded. "Understood." As they loaded Lily into the ambulance, I looked back at Jennifer. She was already on her phone, texting someone, completely calm. The ambulance ride took 17 minutes. 17 minutes of watching Lily's chest rise and fall weakly. 17 minutes of Martinez explaining what he knew. "The Oregon case was bad," he said quietly. "Kid was hospitalized 3 times in 6 months. Always when the dad was traveling for work. Always with the stepmom's explanation that he was clumsy, accident-prone, sickly. The 3rd time, a nurse noticed the pattern, called authorities. What happened? They arrested her. Sarah Jensen. But her defense attorney got the evidence thrown out. Something about the blood tests being improperly logged. Without that, they couldn't prove she'd drugged the kid. Case fell apart. She disappeared before they could file new charges." "And you're sure it's her?" "I'm positive. I'd recognize that face anywhere. Haunted me for months." At Seattle Children's Hospital, they rushed Lily into emergency. I paced in the waiting room while they ran tests, called her pediatrician, called my mother, called my boss, didn't call Jennifer, didn't want to hear her voice. At 11:47 p.m., Dr. Patricia Chen came out, 46 years old according to the hospital website, 22 years in pediatric emergency medicine. Her face was grim. "Mr. Cooper, your daughter has been drugged with diphenhydramine, that's Benadryl, at levels consistent with a 150-pound adult dosage. She's also severely dehydrated, malnourished, and has bruising consistent with physical abuse. We found older bruises in various stages of healing. My knees went weak. I sat down hard. How long? I asked. Based on the malnutrition and dehydration? Weeks, maybe months. The bruising patterns suggest ongoing physical abuse over an extended period. I've been home. I would have noticed, Mr. Cooper. Abusers are very good at hiding what they do. And you said you travel frequently for work? 2 to 3 times a month, usually 3 or 4 days at a time. That's when it would have happened, when you weren't there to see. A police officer arrived. Detective Raymond Foster, Seattle PD Child Abuse Unit, 19 years on the force. He took my statement, asked about Jennifer, asked about our marriage. I told him everything. How we'd met 4 years ago, how she'd seemed perfect, how Lily had seemed to like her at first. At first? Foster asked. The last year, Lily's been different, quieter, more anxious. I thought it was just adjustment. New school, growing up, her mom being gone. I never thought, Mr. Cooper, I need to ask, did you ever see your wife hurt Lily? No, never. I would have. Did Lily ever say anything? I thought back, tried to remember. There was something. 6 months ago, Lily had asked me, Daddy, does Jennifer love me? I'd said, of course she did. Asked why she'd ask that. She's just different when you're not home. Different how? Just different. I'd brushed it off. Thought Lily was being sensitive. Thought she was still struggling with having a stepmom instead of her real mom. God, how could I have been so blind? I need to talk to your wife, Foster said. She's at our house, 2847 Maple Avenue. He left. I stayed with Lily. She woke up around 2 a.m., groggy, confused. When she saw me, she started crying. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be bad. Baby, you're not bad. You're not bad at all. Jennifer said I was bad. Said I deserved it. Said if I told you, nobody would believe me because I'm just a kid and she's the grown-up. My heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. I believe you, sweetheart. I believe you completely. Jennifer came home that night like nothing had happened. Detective Foster had gone to our house, but she'd refused to answer questions without a lawyer. They couldn't arrest her. Not yet. Not without more proof. She texted me at 2:34 a.m. Where are you? I'm worried. I didn't respond. She texted again at 3:15 a.m. Dan, please. I know you're upset, but we need to talk. Lily has behavioral issues. I was just trying to help. She needs structure, discipline. You've been too soft on her since Emily died. I blocked her number. At 6:01 a.m., I called my buddy Marcus Chen. We'd gone to college together. He worked in tech security now, running his own firm specializing in digital forensics and background investigations. Marcus, I need everything you can find on Jennifer Walsh. Born 1985, married me in 2019. What's going on? I told him. Everything. He went quiet for a long time. I'll call you back, he said. He called back 2 hours later. Dude, your wife doesn't exist before 2018. What? No credit history. No social media before that year. Her driver's license was issued in Washington in 2018. Her social security number is real, but there's no employment history before 2018. No tax records, no college transcripts. It's like she appeared out of nowhere. My hands started shaking. Can people even do that? Sure, if they know what they're doing. Change your name, move states, create a new identity. Not exactly legal, but not impossible. Especially if you're running from something. I dug deeper. Found the Oregon case Martinez had mentioned. Spent 4 hours on Google, LexisNexis, public records databases. Found it. Sarah Jensen. Arrested November 2021 in Portland for felony child abuse. Her stepson Dylan Martin, 8 years old, hospitalized with drug overdose and suspicious injuries. Charges dropped January 2022 when evidence was ruled inadmissible. Subject failed to appear for rescheduled hearing. Warrant issued. There was a photo in the court records. Jennifer. Absolutely Jennifer. Same face, same cold eyes. I kept digging. Found another case. Phoenix, Arizona. March 2019. Rachel Morrison. Arrested for endangering a child. Stepdaughter, 7 years old. Found unresponsive at school. Same pattern. Drugs, malnutrition, bruising. Charges dropped when key witness, the father, refused to testify. Case notes indicated he'd been convinced his daughter was lying and threatened by the defendant. The case was sealed because the victim was a minor. But I found the father's name in related civil filings. Robert Morrison. He'd filed for divorce and emergency custody 3 months after the criminal case fell apart. I called information, got a number, left a voicemail. Mr. Morrison, my name is Daniel Cooper. I think my wife might be your ex-wife, Rachel. I need to talk to you. Please. It's about my daughter. He called back 30 minutes later. Is your daughter okay? His voice was rough, urgent. She's in the hospital. She'll survive, but she's a monster. The words came out flat. Dead. Rachel, whatever she's calling herself now, she gets off on it, hurting kids, specifically stepkids. She finds single fathers, plays the perfect girlfriend, the devoted stepmom. Then once she's locked in, married, living together, integrated into the family, she starts what? Testing boundaries. Small punishments that escalate, withholding food, restricting bathroom access, emotional abuse, then physical, then chemical. She drugs them to keep them compliant, to make them easy to control, and she times it for when the father is gone. Business trips, long work days, anytime she can be alone with the kid. Why? Power. Control. She told me once, during one of our fights before I realized what she really was, that children needed to learn their place, that they were manipulative little liars who deserved to be taught respect. He laughed bitterly. I actually believed her for a while. Believed my daughter was making things up for attention. How did you figure it out? My daughter collapsed at school. Nurse called an ambulance. Toxicology showed Benadryl, NyQuil, and traces of prescription sleep medication. My medication. Rachel had been drugging her for months, maybe longer. What happened to Rachel? She vanished. Day before the trial, she didn't show up. Left her phone, her wallet, everything. Just disappeared. By the time I found out she'd used a fake ID to board a bus to Nevada, she was gone. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Stop her. I couldn't. But maybe you can. How's your daughter now? She's 12, in therapy. Still has nightmares. Still flinches when women raise their voices. Rachel destroyed something in her that I don't know if it'll ever come back. After I hung up, I sat in the hospital room and cried. Lily was asleep, hooked up to IVs, monitors beeping softly. She looked so small in that bed. I'd brought this monster into our home, into Lily's life, because I was lonely, because I wanted help, because I thought I was doing the right thing. I pulled up Jennifer's number, unblocked it, looked at our text history, messages from when we were dating. Sweet, charming. Can't wait to meet Lily. You're such a good father. I've always wanted to be a mom. All lies, all performance, all part of the con. I started building a case, called Marcus back. I need more. I need every name she's used, every place she's lived, every victim. On it, I called Detective Foster. I found 2 more cases. Oregon and Arizona. Same woman, different names. I have contact information for victims and case files. Mr. Cooper, I appreciate your initiative, but this is police work. With respect, Detective, the Oregon case fell apart because of mishandled evidence. The Arizona case fell apart because she manipulated the father. She's good at this. She's been doing it for years. If we don't build an airtight case, she'll walk again. Silence. Then, send me everything you have. Over the next 72 hours, I barely slept. Marcus found 2 more cases. 2017, Las Vegas. Julia Martinez arrested for child neglect. 6-year-old stepson hospitalized. Father refused to cooperate. Charges dropped. 2016, Sacramento. Michelle Chen investigated for abuse. 7-year-old stepdaughter. Case went nowhere because the child recanted her statement. Father married to Michelle for 3 more years before they divorced quietly. 5 cases, 5 different names, 5 different states. Same pattern, same woman. Marcus compiled everything into a digital dossier. Police reports, court records, hospital records, photos, news articles. It was devastating. She's a serial predator, Marcus said. This is what she does. It's not anger. It's not loss of control. It's deliberate, systematic. I contacted all the fathers. 3 of them agreed to talk. 1 refused, said he'd moved on, and didn't want to dredge up the past. 1 I couldn't locate. The Oregon victim, Dylan Martin, was now 10 years old. His father, Chris Martin, agreed to let Dylan participate if it would help put her away. I had an idea. Possibly insane, possibly brilliant. My company, Cloud Tech Solutions, was throwing its annual charity gala that Saturday. Big event, 200 attendees, major clients, C-suite executives, investors, local media covering the event because we were raising money for Seattle Children's Hospital. Jennifer loved these events, loved playing the devoted wife, loved networking, loved being seen. I called her, first time since the hospital. Dan, oh my God, I've been so worried. We need to talk. Yes, absolutely. I'll come to the hospital. Not here. Lily doesn't want to see you. Silence. Then colder. She's manipulating you. She's always been difficult, jealous of our relationship. Emily spoiled her, and now the gala is Saturday. We need to put on a united front for the company, for appearances. Another pause. I could practically hear her calculating. You want me to come to the gala? The company needs us to look stable. Lily's situation is complicated, but we're handling it. Private family matter. You know how clients are? They talk. We need to show everything's fine. Everything is fine. Once you listen to my side, Saturday, 7 p.m., Fairmont Hotel. Wear the blue dress. I hung up before she could respond. Then I made calls. So many calls. Detective Foster, I need you at the Fairmont Saturday night in plain clothes with backup. Chris Martin from Oregon. Can you and Dylan be in Seattle this weekend? I'll cover all expenses. Robert Morrison from Arizona. I'm organizing something. I need you there. Marcus, I need a projector, a wireless one, and your help setting up a presentation. Jennifer Martinez, the paramedic. I need you to testify about Oregon, publicly. My boss, Karen Walsh. I need 10 minutes during the awards portion. Trust me. Everyone said yes. Saturday arrived. The Fairmont Olympic was decorated beautifully. Chandeliers, ice sculptures, open bar, live jazz band, 200 people in formal wear, schmoozing and drinking champagne. I wore my best suit, smiled, shook hands, networked, played the part. Jennifer arrived at 7:47 p.m. Blue dress, hair perfect, makeup flawless. She looked like a magazine ad for the perfect wife. She kissed my cheek. Thank you for this, for giving us a chance to work things out. Of course. I introduced her to clients, colleagues. She charmed everyone, laughed at jokes, complimented dresses, asked about children with exactly the right amount of interest. She was very, very good at this. At 9:15 p.m., the awards portion began. My boss, Karen, took the microphone. Thank you all for coming tonight. We've raised over $300,000 for Seattle Children's Hospital. hospital. That money will directly support families dealing with pediatric emergencies, families like our own Daniel Cooper's. Polite applause. Jennifer smiled, squeezed my hand. Dan, would you like to say a few words? I stood, walked to the stage, took the microphone. Jennifer's smile was radiant. Thank you all for being here tonight, I said. Child safety is personal to me, especially this week, because 6 days ago I came home from a business trip and found my 6-year-old daughter unconscious on our floor. The smile froze just for a second, then returned, but colder. She'd been drugged, starved, beaten while I was in Minneapolis selling software. Murmurs in the crowd. Jennifer's smile stayed fixed. I also learned something else. I learned that my wife has been abusing my daughter, systematically, for months. The smile cracked. But that's not all I learned. I nodded to Marcus. The projector lit up behind me. A photo appeared, Jennifer's face, but with different names. I learned that my wife isn't who she says she is. Jennifer Walsh. That's what she told me. But that's not her real name. Another slide. A mugshot. This is Sarah Jensen, arrested in Portland, Oregon, November 2021 for child abuse. Another slide. Different mugshot. This is Rachel Morrison, arrested in Phoenix, Arizona, March 2019. Another. Julia Martinez, Las Vegas 2017. Another. Michelle Chen, Sacramento 2016. The room was silent. 200 people staring. Phones coming out. Recording. Same woman, same pattern. She finds single fathers, becomes the perfect girlfriend, the perfect stepmom. Then, when she's locked in, married, trusted, she starts hurting the children. Jennifer stood up. Her chair scraped loudly. This is insane. Daniel is having a breakdown. He's lying. That's my stepson. A voice from the back. Chris Martin stood up. Dylan beside him. The boy pointed at Jennifer. You almost killed me. You put pills in my food. You locked me in the closet. You told my dad I was lying. Another voice. Robert Morrison stood. You put my daughter in a coma. She was 7 years old. Jennifer's face twisted, the mask finally dropping completely. You people are... This is... Detective Foster stepped forward from the crowd. Plain clothes, but now showing his badge. Sarah Jensen, also known as Rachel Morrison, Julia Martinez, Michelle Chen, and Jennifer Walsh, you're under arrest for child endangerment, fraud, identity theft, and felony assault. She ran. Actually ran toward the exit, heels clicking on marble. The detective from Portland, Lauren Hayes, 16 years on the force, flown in specifically for this, stepped in front of the door. You also have an outstanding warrant in Oregon. You're not going anywhere. Foster and Hayes moved in. Jennifer fought, screamed, called me every name imaginable. You'll regret this, you manipulative bastard. You set me up. I smiled, couldn't help it. No, you'll regret thinking I wouldn't fight back. Every single person in this room is a witness. This footage, I pointed to the news crew in the corner, camera rolling, is already viral. You're done hiding. As they cuffed her, she looked at me, pure hatred in those cold blue eyes. Your daughter deserved it, she hissed. She was a whiny little brat just like all the others. The room gasped. The cameras kept rolling. They dragged her out. She was screaming the whole way. The gala dissolved. People talking, crying. Several clients hugged me, told me they were sorry, told me Lily was lucky to have me. The next morning, it was everywhere. News coverage, social media, serial child abuser exposed at charity gala. The video had 5 million views by noon. Jennifer, Sarah, Rachel, whatever her real name was, sat in King County Jail awaiting trial. No bail. Flight risk with a history of fleeing jurisdiction. Detective Foster built the case methodically. 5 states, 5 victims, forensic evidence, digital evidence, testimonies. The trial was 4 months later. Jennifer pleaded not guilty. Her lawyer tried to claim I'd set her up, that I'd fabricated evidence, that the victims were lying. Dylan Martin testified. 10 years old, voice shaking, but clear, described what she'd done to him, the pills, the punishments, the fear. Robert Morrison's daughter testified via video, now 12. She described being locked in bathrooms for hours, being told she was worthless, being drugged when she tried to tell anyone. Lily testified too. My brave, beautiful 6-year-old daughter told the jury about the punishments, the pills, the bruises, how Jennifer told her nobody would believe her because kids are liars. The jury deliberated for 3 hours, guilty on all counts. Sentencing was 2 weeks later. Judge Patricia Moreno, 26 years on the bench, known for harsh sentences in child abuse cases. Ms. Jensen, or Walsh, or Morrison, or whatever your real name is, in my 26 years as a judge, I have never seen such calculated, systematic abuse of vulnerable children. You are a predator, a serial predator who specifically targets children who have already lost a parent, who are already vulnerable, already traumatized. You exploited grieving fathers and tortured innocent children for your own gratification. She sentenced Jennifer to 48 years in prison, 8 years for each victim, to be served consecutively. No possibility of parole for 20 years. Jennifer showed no emotion, just stared at the wall. Lily's in therapy now. Dr. Lisa Chen, PhD in child psychology, 17 years treating trauma in children. She has nightmares still, flinches sometimes when women raise their voices, but she's healing. She smiles again, really smiles, not the fake, scared smile she had when Jennifer lived with us. We moved. Couldn't stay in that house with those memories. Got a smaller place in a different neighborhood, just us. The other fathers reached out. We formed a support group, meet monthly, talk about healing. healing, about protecting our kids, about the warning signs we all missed. Dylan's doing better, so is Robert's daughter, so are the others, now that we've all connected and shared our experiences. 6 months after the sentencing, I got a letter from Jennifer, from prison. I almost threw it away, but curiosity won. Daniel, you think you won. You didn't. I'll be out in 20 years. I'm only 39. I'll have plenty of time to start over, find a new name, a new state, new victims. There are always single fathers looking for help, always lonely men who will believe anything, always children who are easy to hurt. You got lucky, you had resources, money, connections. Most of them don't. Most of them never figure it out until it's too late. I've hurt more kids than the 5 you found. Try 10, maybe 12. I've been doing this since I was 22. You only caught the recent ones, the sloppy ones. The others? I was careful. I was smart. Those families still think their kids are problems, still think they're the issue, not me. Sleep well knowing that. I showed it to Detective Foster. He showed it to the prosecutor. They used it to open investigations into her past. Found 3 more cases they're still building. The letter was evidence of consciousness of guilt. Might add more years to her sentence. I showed it to Dr. Chen during one of Lily's sessions. She's trying to maintain power, Dr. Chen said. Even from prison, she wants you to feel helpless, scared, to think she's still in control. Is she? No, she's in a cell. You and Lily are free. That's who won. She was right. Last week, Lily and I went to the park. She ran to the swings, laughed as she went higher and higher, called out, "Daddy, watch me." I watched her, my strong, brave little girl who survived a monster. And I thought about that letter, about Jennifer's claim that she'd won, that she'd do it again. Maybe she would. Maybe she'd get out in 20 years and try. But she'd have to do it with every news outlet in the country knowing her face, with every father and every support group spreading awareness, with every victim she'd tortured now empowered to speak up. She thought she was untouchable, thought she could keep hunting, keep hurting. She was wrong, because the thing about monsters, eventually they get caught. Eventually, the truth comes out. Eventually, the victims find each other, and the monster ends up alone in a cell, writing impotent threats, while the people they tried to destroy move forward with their lives. Lily jumped off the swing, ran to me, hugged my legs. "I love you, Daddy. I love you too, sweetheart. Is Jennifer ever coming back?" "Never, I promise." "Good. I like it being just us." "Me too, baby. Me too." We went home, made dinner together. She helped me stir the pasta, giggled when I let her taste the sauce. Normal, safe, free. Jennifer thought she'd won because she'd hurt so many kids and gotten away with it for so long, but she lost everything the moment she underestimated a father's love, and she'll spend the next 48 years knowing it.